All right, hello everyone, and welcome back. Big thank you to Howard for doing his magic. And I know you're probably thinking, "Wow, Kyle grew a lot of hair lately." No, my name is Paul Tranny. Kyle T. Webster is indisposed right now, so you're stuck with me. I hope that's okay. Yeah, so this is going to be fun. Yeah, so hand lettering. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm actually going to just switch right over and jump into this if I could. Da, 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 da. Here we are. And by the way, I'm going to be using Fresco and probably Illustrator as well on the iPad for different reasons. We could talk about the differences as well because you can do vector content in Fresco. All right. So let's do this. By the way, we could also get inspired. I'm all about like just kind of. I'm gonna take a word, a quote essentially, or just a fun phrase. I don't know what you guys use for resources, but a lot of times I'll go of course to Behance. I'll jump out to Pinterest and I'll just kind of scroll through just because I like this view, to be honest with you. I like the word smile. I think that's a fun one. So again, just trying to get inspired as I scroll down. And also we can start off even in Photoshop as well. So I have some fonts that I can kind of check out or just start typing up some phrases. I'm kind of curious, like, what do you guys do? Did Paul have an accident? No, I didn't have an accident. I did get sunburned really bad. I was up in the mountains and of the snow and the blah, blah, blah. I got a really bad sunburn, so I'm kind of embarrassed about it. So now you know. But no, I didn't have an accident. So yeah, right in here. No problem in asking. So smile. I love this font, by the way. I used this earlier today. It's just so cool. I just love this, right? This isn't hand lettering, but this like inspires me. I'm into this like 70s fun look, right? And this one's called Dimensions. So do what you need to get inspired, right? Of course, in Photoshop, we could jump in. We can go to script, right? And not only that, if you're curious about just the fonts in your computer, you can do wordmark.it. But again, this is hand lettering. We're just getting inspired right now. So again, and saying, hey, you know what, everyone? Smile. Huh? It's a good day. We're getting inspired out here as well. Okay, so Richard, what's up? Let's dive into this, Richard, if that works for you. Let's switch over. Yeah, so by the way, I do have lights too. So I have some fun lights that I'm actually working with. Hello, cameras. Right, you guys get the idea. So let's kind of jump into this. This one is not, this thing is in my way. But I'm just going to use my iPad. So again, I'm in Fresco. What I would initially do is jump out to my photos and just like grab some lined paper. Right, so I just have some like lined paper that I would drop in here. Say, hey, you know what? I just need some lines to work with. So feel free to do that if you want, dropping that in like so, okay? You can always turn that on or off. Another alternative is to sort of draw out those lines as well right in Fresco. But here we are. Let's go ahead and turn that on like so. Let's rotate this, and I can just kind of use this to start with. Let's pick, in fact, hard round variable brush, and we're just going to use the word smile, and we're going to dive into this, and we're going to do some cool things because I want to vectorize this, and I want to do some fun magic. This hard round variable is really fun, and in fact, let me just turn down the opacity of those lines so we can really make this stand out. So jumping in here, the big thing is, and this was going to be one of my quotes as well, is like just start. Like it's okay to make mistakes, right? We all know that, but we can come in and say S M up I. Let's get the L in there. Thin up, thick down. Oh, hello. this is highly sensitive to my pressure, right? And we can take a look down here. We can see all the variables for this specific brush. Okay, so keep in mind I am trying to keep between these two lines the M. So when I come in here with the E, I can make sure it's just as tall as the I, like that. Again, just having fun with it. Learn how to write cursive, because right, they don't teach that in school anymore, which is crazy. All right, so this was kind of fun, right? We could take this and we can make this look even more awesome, I think. Oftentimes I'll just take this layer, right? We could just, for example, tap on that layer. We'll duplicate it. We'll hide the original one. We'll go to this new layer. In fact, let's turn off those lines. Let's go nice and fresh right in here. I love this feature, being able to jump in and say, hey, you know what? Lock the transparency. I'm going to lock this transparency and then start to play with some more colors, right? So again, we'll jump in. We'll just take, let's just take a lovely pink. Let's crank down the size. There's our pink. And then we'll throw a little blue. How's everybody doing today, huh? What's up, Steve O in the house? All is well. I can come into this and actually just give it a little bit more dimension. Because what I was doing a second ago was just kind of doing these long stripes, right? And really, as I take a look at it, I think what would be really cool is if we actually just kind of have it loop around. So I'm going to change my brush just to a hard round because I always want it to be the same thickness. That thickness being around 75, 80, kind of around there. Maybe a little thinner, by the way. Shh, take this down. There we go. Let's just do this. There we go. How is everybody smiling this week? Are you having a good week? And by the way, I'm doing all of this live. Yeah, obviously. All right, there we are. Cool thing is we're going to blend this all together anyway. Let's get a little blue. And, oh, see, Cody, you're left-handed. So am I, right? And we're so used to, again, if this was the real world, what would we be doing? We would be smudging this. We would be smudging all of our text because that is the curse of the left-hander. I feel ya. I feel ya. I don't know if you ever have a tendency to sort of work upside down, and you'll sometimes tilt your hand so you're actually on top of the text, right? Rather than, you know, to the left, because when you're to the left, you're gonna smear whatever you're making. But of course, when we're going digitally, no big deal. Let's fill this in. Let's go a little faster, huh, Paul? Let's go faster. Let's just go faster. The cool thing is I'm going to smudge this together anyways, and I'm going to use some multicolor brushes too, so this doesn't really matter as much as I think it does, right? Again, our whole goal is to smile and just get involved, right, and have some fun. Let's throw some yellow in there, because nothing says smile like yellow. Bam, bam, there you go. Throw that yellow in there. Kind of like that black even as well. So let's undo this. Obviously, I just want to kind of isolate the eye. So I have lock transparency on. I can isolate this eye and then go in with this brush that I was just using and make sure we just get that top part, right? And deselect. You guys get the idea. Cool. Yeah, writing upside down. My dad was left-handed as well, so I think I kind of learned it from him. Any other left-handers out there, let me know. Prolatina, you are my best friend as well, right? I've gotten to know, like, I feel like I know people better than I actually do just because I see names every day, and it's really fun to have you guys here, right? Again, because we're all kind of, you know, dealing with quite a year, and it's fun to have friends out there. So there we are, we have Smile. We're losing a little bit of it, a little bit of that legibility, thanks to the, well, honestly, to that that yellow. So what I typically will end up doing is duplicate that layer, right? So I end up sort of making multiple layers, right? But we also have the ability to jump in and smudge. So here's my smudge brushes. So I can pick, say, hard round opacity and come in and start to smudge this around. I like this because we start to get this blending of colors, right? Swooshy, swooshiness, right? In fact, let's crank this up, soft round opacity, and increase that opacity, really push this content around like so. Oh, is it doing it? Right? Right? So look at that. That's what I want. I want that tie-dye look, right? Swooshiness. Are we having fun yet? Let's get this tie-dye look going on. I'm going to take this to the next level soon as well. Not to worry, but let me just rush through and kind of get at least one example done. Right? I'd throw some green in here. Okay, where's the lock transparency? So you can do this a couple ways. If you just tap on the layer, you could see lock transparency. And let me go full screen. So I'm going to get rid of that bevel, all that stuff. There. Hopefully you can see that better. Lock transparency. Just do a press or tap on the layer. Or you could use this flyout menu. And it's down there as well. So again, just tap on that layer. And it's spectacular. Let's smudge this stuff around. Right, we got this tie-dye going on. We start to get this hint of green in there, which I think would be a really awesome color to use, right? Again, this is now playing with color. It's kind of less about hand lettering, but again, we're just dealing with these letters as actual like art shapes. So we're dealing them with it as them as design shapes, and we're just kind of smudging those colors together. Maybe I made it better, maybe I made it worse. Sometimes if I decide I want to introduce another color, see, yeah, you're right, Reverb Mike, introduce a new layer, right, and we'll clip it. So I introduce this new layer because I want to add green, but I kind of don't want to ruin the original. So you could always add that new layer, make it a clipping mask, and then jump in, select your green, you know, and then add it like so. Now, it's not going to blend in with the other colors. Maybe I'll make it a little bit darker. And that's okay. Like, it's all right. Because I could still smudge it around. I don't know. But again, this is a case where I would use a... smudge that around. I would introduce that green, say, hey, you know what, that, since it's on a separate layer, I do that if I'm not 100% sure that I actually want to use it. So that's when I typically sort of introduce that new layer. Let's throw that over that black there and smudge it a little bit more. And where are my left-handers at? By the way, I think it's funny that I'm kind of doing this. I've never been a huge fan of the 70s, but I am a fan, at least as of late, of really bright colors. So that's kind of what I'm getting into, is just bright, bold, awesome, fantastic colors. So Mike, Viola, Cody Bear, what is this missing? In my opinion, I feel like it's missing some depth, right? It wants to be spherical, but it's not fully spherical. Okay, so we'll go ahead, turn or add a new layer. It's gonna be set to a clipping mask. We'll jump in, we'll grab a soft round opacity brush, right? We'll just select that, set it to black. Okay, since it's a clipping mask again, I can just add that nice shading. Let's crank up the size of this brush too. Let's get some nice shading in there, huh? Just like so. Let's give it a little bit of depth, like that. There we go, on the sides there. Right in here. Hey, you want to isolate something? I just want to get it on this side here. Let's do that. Ooh, way too dark, Paul. What are you doing? You get the idea. A little bit of depth. Deselect. Making it fun today. Let me know if you guys have questions. I love to talk food. Downside, it just makes you hungry. Yeah, agreed. Yep. I was just watching a documentary on General Chow's chicken. Sorry, that was so hard to say. And the history of that, which is like, why am I even watching this? Why do I want to know about General Chow's chicken? But all it did is make me hungry. So here we are, just, you know, biding our time between lunch and dinner, at least in my case. Just biding our time. Right, a little strong there. Let's kind of remove that. There we go. Right, we added a little bit of depth on one side, right? We have this shading. Add a new layer, bam. Clip it. Add some white. Not to worry, this might look kind of ugly right now. Let's not worry too much about that because it is going to change, right? We could add these nice highlights. In fact, soft round brush, I can drop in just some nice highlights like I'm doing right now. Let's not worry too much about it because I'm going to change the blend mode and then it's really going to pop. Okay, we just want to get that highlight there. So, jumping in here, I said the blend mode, we will change this to say, we'll change it to overlay. Okay, so this is what it looks like now. Let's just turn this on and off just to get an idea for what it looks like. Sort of before and then after. So that's what I'm painting with now. Hopefully you can see that. Again, the more layers, the better ultimately. Put that highlight there. Let's put a highlight right in here. It really pops on those darker colors. So right down here, you can really see it pop. Boom. Drop in that highlight. I wouldn't even call this a highlight. It's more like the mid-tone that give it a little bit of depth, right? We could see it on that blue there, wrapping around, okay? Clip it. New layer of just white. All right. You get the idea. Add a little there, a little there. And let's play with this a couple more times. And I could actually use some more phrases as well. And I actually wanted to use Illustrator. And the reason I wanted to use Illustrator is I want a single path. So there we are. We have Smile. It's groovy. I would actually transfer this to the desktop and I'd put this on the desktop and start to play with this color some more, by the way. In fact, let's do this. You know, throwing in a background now, okay? So now we have this situation where we kind of, and actually I'm gonna take this shadow and I'm gonna change this to overlay, right? So there's overlay for that layer. And I usually have to toggle it on and off to kind of see the difference, right? That's pretty subtle overall, but I can always duplicate that layer and that kind of beefs it up a little bit more. Again, just playing with this. Let's add a new layer. Select black, go in, soft round, crank it up, right? And we can play with just some nice shading underneath as well. We can give this some dimension. Thanks, Michelle, you're always so nice. We can give this some dimension because I'm feeling like these swooshes at the end should kind of pop out more. So maybe they should have less shadow. So let's just jump in there. You know, ooh. It's going to erase a little bit and then add. So it's going to be darker right up here where the bulk of the letters are. And then as it comes off, it's going to get a little lighter. So that's all. All right. 1,000 other things I could do. This is just our template, right? We can have some more fun with this. We already have this done so far. So let's take this. What I would really love to be able to do is take all of these. So I'm selecting all these layers and putting them all in a folder, right? So I did a multi-select, took all those layers, put them into one layer group. Right, and now I can kind of nest that away. I actually could have put this in there, so just by dragging it up, I can put it in there. As you drop in layers, they will appear at the top. So you might have to do some adjustments. Drag this down to the bottom. There we go. There we go. Turn that off, and now we're back at it. In it to win it. Let's do another word real fast. And actually what I was going to do is I was going to go ahead and sample this, because essentially what I did is I kind of did a multicolor brush, right? And that's what I want to do. I actually want to create a multicolor swatch. So let's go new layer. Let's just try out my brushes. Oh yeah. So let's do this. Let's take our eyedropper. We want to select, and actually want to do a multi-select. So I'm going to move this over. You guys might not be able to see this. Move that up. I might not be screen aware, and I apologize. I just wanted to get this, all of this to be a little bit larger. So I cranked it up to like 150. Right, we'll make it a touch smaller, just so you can see. All right, there's everything on the screen. So right here, this little button, here's our multicolor select. Bam, that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna be able to select all of those colors like so, right? So now I can go to my brush and jump in and do a... Let's crank this up. Let's make this larger. Oops. Oops. There we go. Smile, right? Wasn't this so much easier, huh? You get the idea. It is hard to read. I get it, right? I was not that exact with it, but hey, this is fun. It's like, just get involved. Just try out some things. Let me get into a little bit more of the hand lettering, right? I could actually still import that photo with the lines, right? There we have it. Boom, done. Right? I could use it. But another thing I want to think about is if you're using a variable brush, this is a hard round variable, you want to go, actually, make sure this is underneath. You want to go thin up and then thick down, right? So right in here, it'd be like kind of thin up, thick down, right? M, thin up, thick down. And in this case, it's kind of harder to clean up when it is a brush that has multiple colors, but you get the idea. There we go. A little better. What are your thoughts, everyone, huh? Was this not easy? Candy. It is just like candy. And hopefully this makes you smile as well. Let's turn that off. Gorgeous. Play with this all day long. Yes, Cody, come on now. Like, seriously, you could have so much fun with it. It's just amazing. It really is. Here's something to think about, like, let's do this. You're like, okay, I need some color. Here's an image I did. You know, this is all coming together as we can see. But here is just a fun image. Let me turn off that. Let's take this. So I have all these crazy colors that I could actually like sample from, right? So again, multicolor brush sampling from a photo, and I'll grab some of these colors right in here. And by the way, if you shrink this down, shrink down the photo and you have more of a sample area to go with. So now I can sample that color, right? It's loaded in, it's looking good. Let's turn off that layer. Let's add a new layer. Actually, let's turn this back on. Sorry about that. Turn that back on. Select our brush. Turn off that layer. Go to a new layer and then jump in. And we have a different color palette. Oops. Not crazy about the M. Right, not crazy about it. But that's okay. By the way, here's the sample. You can see it kind of behind my head. Good to go. Okay, cool. We're making so many different versions. Let's go in here. I do like to talk about the vector brushes. So let's do the basic taper for this vector brush, and we can get a feel for it. Let's crank up the size big time. There we go. This taper brush is gonna do exactly what you think it is. Ready? We're gonna go thin up, push harder down, and this is the look that you end up getting, right? Oops. Right, this is technically all one vector shape. Yes, the M is all smushed. Now I'm all self-conscious about it. Let's roll it back. Let's do that again. Let's go in reverse order. Let's try this. Nope. Let's take this smaller. All right, so nonetheless, I'm not even gonna use this, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and close that. That's all one shape, right? There it is. I just called it unsupervised, because you know what? I'm unsupervised this afternoon, folks. That's right. like the purple. The M should definitely be wider. You are exactly right. I gotta get my act together, huh? Get your act together, Paul. Let's go into Illustrator. Hey, why not? Here we are in Illustrator doing the same thing virtually, right? Let's grab our lined paper. There it is. Let's make it actually larger. Let's rotate it. Let's make it even larger. Let's rotate it, drop it right there. Done. New layer. Let's get this party started. Locking down that previous layer. So let's jump into this. We'll use black. Same process, right? So again, once you know one of these tools, you know multiple. All right, we drop down the opacity, lock down that layer, go to a new layer, and then you can start drawing again. And this time I'm just going to use a simple pencil. Supervision is overrated. That's right. Right? I have the smoothing maybe about in the middle, okay? And you're just going to have to play with that, but we'll just go in. And this is going to be, might not be that pretty, right? Actually, you know what? I'm going to take the smoothing up because I want these really smooth characters, right? S. And by the way, I'm not staying 100% true to this, but that's actually why I love, let's delete that, Illustrator. I can kind of zoom into this and yes, technically I should have some better lined paper, but it would typically be like this, like that. There we are. So many issues with this, but unlike, say, Fresco, where you're just redrawing the same M over and over because it was smashed, right? We could always jump in, we could tweak this, right? First thing, we're going to round the ends, round the caps, go in here, play with these vectors. Double tap. Oh yeah, you right there, just double tap. Boom, there you are. Give me that sort of like full control. So this is, again, ultimately what I like to do. Like this point right here, is it even needed? I don't know. Let's remove it, right? Actually, the less points, the better, I think, in this case. But I could start to really dial this in to where I want it, which is, again, why I'm really into Illustrator. Give me this level of control, right? Make this perfect, why don't ya, huh? Like right up here, this part, yeah, let's round that. Let's just do something like that. And again, just kind of tighten that up. One thing I didn't show, because I kind of just didn't need to, but if you're doing text at an angle like I am, you could also consider adding diagonal lines or slanted lines, because we need to make sure that all of our verticals are going the same direction, right? So we need to make sure this lines up here. Bam, lines up here, lines up here, lines up here, lines up here. Typically, you'll do that naturally, but at the same time, if something's off, chances are it's one of those things, or it's going to be like the X height as well. Is that off? Like you got to just have this kind of tied together. You turn your paper to the right as a lefty too, yeah. I was doing that. In Fresco, I actually did not rotate the paper, but in Illustrator, I did for whatever reason, right? But it's cool. Now I have this as a stroke that I get to play with, which is going to be really fun to work with. Alrighty, welcome everybody. Just my computer's gone to sleep at a perfect time. Or something. So, thanks for hanging out with me and listen to the smooth jams of royalty-free music. Turn this on and we'll get this party started. I really, Golden Rose, by the way, that's a great quote. Just supervision is overrated. Like, that could literally be the quote. And honestly, I might steal it because I'm going to show you how to do this a third way as well. Right? Now that I have my desktop up and running, we're going to do that. Ba-ba, ba-ba, ba-ba. All right. Let's switch over. Here I am on my desktop, right? So I'm actually in Illustrator now on my desktop. Haven't transferred over the files. This is just sort of a blank file, but I can even use text, and I could have done this in Fresco, but it's like we were looking at cool fonts earlier, right? We were looking at cool fonts on our desktop, right? Just getting a good idea for text everywhere we can. I'm just going to use this Adorn S Pomander. I could potentially use this as a template. So let's do compliments of Golden Rose. Supervision is overrated. This is probably too long of a phrase for me to do in the time that I have, but I love it so much, right? Let's take that. Let's drop down the opacity like so. New layer, right? And thinking, okay, well, let's go ahead and use this as a template as well. So grabbing my pencil tool, bam, there we are. Oh. I was like, I'm getting all fancy on you guys because I happen to have a Wacom. So I'm so happy with this Wacom. It's like brand new. I'm having so much fun with it, right? But I can go in here and that is not connected. But let's just go ahead and jump in, right? Using the pencil even on my desktop. So I can just kind of start here, go around, and just be nice and relaxed. And draw that out, right? Just kind of using this as an outline, right? Let's come in here. I do each letter as a time, but I could do more if I want to. Let's do this E and the R together. The V will be separate. There we are. Very nice. Maybe we will get this done in time. Just keeping it nice and free flowing. What size Wacom? I got the 24-inch Wacom Cintiq. Not the Touch, but again, it's just a nice little gift after, you know, being in the industry 25 years, graduating with an illustration degree, and never having a Wacom. This is kind of fun. All right. There we are. Supervision's overrated, folks. There we are. Here's my text. It's okay. We could smooth this out all we want, right? We could actually select all of this text and smooth it. But I want to get into some more of this because now that this is all just one stroke, we can play with the different brushes, of course, that are available to us in Illustrator, right? We have this sloppy one that we can see, right? It doesn't do us any favors, right? Here's a thin one. I start to lose the I and the O and the N. So let's actually fix that, right? And sort of take this, pull it up, do all that cleanup that we need to. Bring that up like so. Cool. All right, so this is not a great stroke, right? I get it. I would not actually use, I probably wouldn't use any of these strokes, but you know what? It doesn't matter, because you know what? Supervision is overrated. It doesn't matter. We can make this the bacon text if we want to, right? Okay. Yes, Steve, you're right. There is a cool Illustrator plugin that will make fonts. You are exactly right. Let's just try a couple of these other brushes that I have. Snake brush. I love the snake brush. Fun patterns. Let's actually change the color of these. Right, there you go. There you are. So this is actually kind of cool, but this is actually not what I want to show you because I want to go beyond this as well. Let's taper it, right? So now we have a nice tapered brush. It's okay. Still needs more work. Yes, bacon brush for the win. There we go. Not bad. Not bad. I want to do something else with this. So let's just kind of keep this. We'll keep our original. Okay, here is our original, like so. We have one that's more, a little more exuberant. And we can start to mix some of these as well. Okay, just so you know. But let's go beyond this, because this really isn't about brushes. I don't want this stream to be about brushes. I kind of wanted to do something else that was kind of cool. That I really liked. Okay, so let's take this wacky, crazy text. It really is just this nice path. Okay. And let's jump in and play with this. Okay. Let's do it. Let's play with it. First off, by the way, I can go ahead and select this. I did this earlier, so if you've been hanging out with me today, you probably know this process of like adding a gradient along this path. So we can go to gradient. We can see right up here. Apply gradient within the stroke, right? So it goes from yellow to pink. So it's like a horizontal gradient. If I select the second one, apply it along the stroke, it should give me a different result. Oh, don't you do that to me. And then there's within the stroke. What is, Anyways, so I was just showing you the different gradients. This doesn't give me the effect that I want, though, actually. What I want to do is I want to select this sphere. Bam. Let's do that. Put a circle there. Put a circle on this end. Change the color to something else. Get this back to just black, just to keep it simple. There we go. Okay, so wacky. Let's take this maybe down a touch. I could always change this later on, but I could select these two, by the way, and do a blend between the two. From point A to point B, it'll give me this nice blend, right? You probably already know that. But I could also take this path, this hand lettering, copy it. I'll typically go inside of this blend object or group and then paste it in. When I paste it in, it's actually going to replace the current one. Let me actually change the number of steps to 200, right? And now we can see it kind of flow around. And again, this is not anything new, by the way. Some of you have been doing things this way for a while. I get it, right? But here is sort of our fun S that you can see I'm working with. All right. Checking the time. Let's hurry up. let's actually fast forward a little bit. Because what I'm thinking, let's take this, let's move this over. This isn't as crazy as I wanted it to be. Right? First of all, with this path, I can flip it. So if I want to change or reverse the spine, when I reverse that spine, you could see that it puts this path in the, that's actually what seemed like it's in the front. It puts this one in front and just kind of reverses the stacking order, right? I can go in and change this to front to back. When I flip those from front to back, it obviously changes the color. And now we have this color right here is now in front and this one's in the back. So it basically flips these two like symbols, if you will, right? So that's what's going on there, okay? I can always control this. If I jump in here, of course, this is, you know, this is the blend tool, right? We know exactly what's gonna happen if I increase that size. And this one as well. You guys get the idea. Okay, just made a weird tube, right? I'm gonna make this even more weird, by the way. And I'm going to play with some more text. Let's play with this text. Here we go. You could see I've done that. So I've already done the, use the blend tool. I just did it with some simple shapes, right? We could always change this, use your direct selection tool, jump in and do that jazz. Let me know how you guys are doing. What's up? What's up, everybody? Gradient, right? It's going to change it accordingly. This is what I wanted to do, though, by the way. You ready for this? Right, we have this. This just consists of a bunch of blends. So I've used the blend tool. Let's take all of this. Let's expand it. So now it's going to be a bunch of shapes. Right? I'll even change the color of this highlight so we can see it better. Right? I've changed all of these to just expandable shapes. Right? They're just basically a bunch of circles. I'm going to do this magic. Oh, let's ungroup this. Wait for it. Ungroup. And ungroup. All right. You ready for this? I want to go ahead for all of these circles. I want to change them and make them all just a bunch of random colors, right? So that's what I want to do. Make them a bunch of random colors. I'm going to go over here. Excuse me. Is there that line back there? There's a sneaky little line back there. Anyways, I'm going to select all of these. I'm going to go to, let's not worry about, there's actually a line back here that I need to get rid of. Not to worry. I'm going to select all this stuff. I'm going to jump in and just shift select these different colors. Let's grab some pink. Let's grab some. There we go. Command click to get a green. Okay, there we go. I've selected about 5 colors. I have this script. We'll go into scripts. We'll go down to random swatches fill. This is a script I have. Do a search for it online. Right, but take all those shapes and fill them with the swatches that I have selected. Boom, there we are. It filled them all. And again, I'm just going to jump in and delete those fills. And now we have this fun trippiness, right? Isn't that cool? All right, it does kind of look like a slinky. By the way, like, I want to actually play with the thickness of this line because it's all one thickness, right? And I want to make this look just cooler where it actually has different thicknesses. So I could do that by going right over here and going to the behind the width tool. There's the warp tool. You ready for this, Michelle? This is awesome. Select the warp tool. I'm going to just double click and I'm going to take a look at the settings for the warp tool. So this is the size and then the intensity. I'm going to take the intensity down to like 10%. But the warp tool will actually start warping. It'll start warping all these circles. So let's just drag it out. Oh, actually, that's not what I want to use. I actually want to use I want to pucker it because I wanted it all to be thicker in parts. So go to the pucker tool. It keeps those same settings. We'll go right over here. I want it to be thick right here. We'll just do a quick drag. Ugh, I'm such a goofball. I'm sorry. It's been a long day. I want bloat. So again, you can tighten it up. You can bloat it out. You can twirl it. You can do all this crazy stuff. I want to bloat it. I'm so sorry. Let's roll over that. That's what I want. Like, make these parts thicker down here, right? Make this maybe a little thicker up here, right? Holding down my option key, it should. Maybe it won't. Change the brush size. Yep. The pucker tool will make it smaller right here. Oops. Let's make all of this smaller. There we go. Let's go back to my bloat tool. Option key, increase the size. Decrease the size. Right. And now we have our fun Willy Wonka type text that I'm playing with. Zoop. Zoop. There we go. This is ridiculous. Down with the thickness. Into it. By the way, you kind of really need to dial this intensity in. It's almost too much. There we go. Take it down to 1%. This gives me more control to kind of just scrub over part of this. Right? And get that thickness the way I want it. It is our Willy Wonka text. Right in here. Let's do the same thing. Scrub over that. Like so. Oh, I'm manipulating the wrong text. What's everybody getting into this weekend, huh? Reminds you of a snake. Yeah. So you could change this all you want. So I would throw a different background on here. Ugh, why does it keep zooming to that one? This one's actually okay. Got a little weird, okay? I'd probably go back to this original one, and just since I have this dialed in a little bit more, I would just come in and just increase the size of this so it's not so messed up. Farrah, it's good to see you, by the way. Like, I appreciate you hanging out, you know, and kind of just hanging out with us, that's all. It's good having you around. Farrah's an awesome designer. She's great with Photoshop and probably a number of other things that I'm not aware of. But we got to get you back on the stream, huh? Getting down to my last couple minutes. Let's do a little pucker action. for right down here. Make it thinner, like so. Ah, so much better. Oh, I love it. So much better, folks. Tighten it up, tighten it up, tighten it up. You guys get the idea. There we have it. Isn't this fun? Isn't this great? Like, I just love this. And I appreciate you guys. Let's slap that on there. Let's move it to the back. Let's change it. Its color, make it darker. But, again, let's not make it look like a dark... It's not supposed to be a dark night. And it's just like, hey, you know what? Relax. You know what? You want to change the color of this? Hey, relax. We could do that too. Recolor artwork. And this is kind of where I end. Let's go into advanced options. Right? And again, relax. That definitely looks like a worm. There we go. Relax, people. It's okay. We'll go with this color scheme. Why not? There we have it. Hopefully everybody has a relaxing weekend. And had fun just doing some hand lettering. Richard, you were too kind. I appreciate people like you. Thank you for being so kind to us and keeping it positive, because we could all use some positivity these days. So, yeah, have a wonderful weekend. Stick around. We have office hours, I think, up next with Nick Longo and Andrew Hotchrattle. And it's going to be a good stream as well. So, signing off. Stay tuned for what I post online, I guess, if you're interested in that sort of thing. And, yeah, take care of one another. Thanks so much, everybody. And we will see you soon. Oh, Afroja, thank you so much. And Ted. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you soon.